Good evening, everyone.
Welcome. It's Friday night. It's 9 p.m. and we are back here on
How to ace your career.
So, guys, like you all know, we come here every Friday night at 9 p.m. to ensure that we help you in some way to ace in your career.
Yep.
This basically and especially is meant for mid-age people with 12 to 15 plus years of experience who go through various challenges in their career front. Maybe it is about looking for a new job or not getting the promotion that they desire or making a career transition or a shift into a new role. These are the challenges that people come to. And also some daily life challenges like how do I deal with a toxic boss, a toxic environment? People are taking me for granted. All these small little things also. And why do they do that? Because I'm Nutan, I'm a career and a life coach. And
I'm Dheeraj, I'm a life coach, relationship coach, and both of us put together, we create and we run this company, ND Life Coaching.
so, welcome again today for yet another session on how to ace your career.
Yep.
And this time, it is not to really do with your job in the work life, but something to do with you, which stops you from progressing in your career.
So true.
And what is that all about? Let's begin. So, I would like to ask you a question. Have you ever found yourself avoiding the things you know you need to do? Maybe the task feels daunting. Maybe it is uninteresting or simply less appealing than scrolling through a social media or watching another episode of your favorite show. This tendency to delay or postpone tasks is called procrastination.
Now, even though we know that putting things off can lead to a pile up of to do's and that leads to anxiety, we do it anyway. We tell ourselves, I'll do it later. And that later becomes much later, or sometime it means never. We tell ourselves, okay? That's what I want you to understand. We are telling ourselves, we're not telling somebody else, it's happening within us. Procrastination often strikes when we are faced with tasks that are mundane, unpleasant, or challenging, which means it's forcing you to do something which you don't want to do. It can even creep into more serious matters like avoiding taking important decisions. Like, you know that this company you're not growing, nothing is happening, but you're still working in that company for 20 years now, hoping that somehow something will resolve on its own, but nothing is happening. But as we know, that rarely happens. Nothing happens. So today, let's dive deep into understanding how we can enhance our focus and beat procrastination once and for all. So, how many people are interested now and later? Please write down in the chat box who want to beat procrastination. So, let's try to see some examples in your career where you would have procrastinated.
So, one of the common things that I hear when my client comes to me, he says, I know I have to learn a new skill. I know I have to do this certification. I know that this will make me eligible for my next promotion or shift in the career that I'm wanting, that new role. I know it's important, but you know what? I'm just not being able to do it. And that is making me feel so frustrated. And I keep feeling guilty all the time. I planned it, it didn't work. What if you have really focused on doing this? When you set some smart goals for skill development, you allocate dedicated time blocks for learning, you can consistently make progress without feeling overwhelmed. This disciplined approach can lead to, of course, a tangible career growth and an increased job satisfaction.
Second, we all know, like Tony Robbins says, today life is just not about working, it's about networking.
Absolutely.
So, networking and professional relationships. I'm going to give you a scenario here. You aim to expand your professional network to explore new opportunities. Okay, you know you need to do that now, but you're not still able to make it happen. You're procrastinating for this. Now, let's see what focus, what do you need to do? First thing, you need to dedicate some regular time to attend industry. That's what I do with my client. I just tell them, okay, this hour of the day, every day you're going to network. Now, once it's something which you schedule, is what happens. Let me make it very clear. Only when something is scheduled, we make it happen, otherwise, not happening. Then you engage with peers on LinkedIn and follow up with contacts, all the contacts that you have, start following them. You can also build a robust network. This proactive approach can lead to new collaboration, mentorship opportunities, and job referrals.
Of course, the most important thing is job referrals. There are so many of you who are struggling to get a job opportunity. You've been applying, but you're not getting it. You know why? Because you have a poor network and you know that is required, but you're not being able to do it. The third situation could be, I know I can do some side hustle in the weekend, and that can give me some more money. Not only the money, but it will give me so much of joy and satisfaction because I love that. That's my passion. But I'm just not able to do that along with my job. My mind is so occupied, I just can't do it. So when you try and work focusing on blocking and prioritizing the task, you can allocate time to both your professional and personal interests. What happens by that? This balance helps you prevent burnout,
Yes.
which is so common, especially at mid age, and ensures that you progress in multiple areas of your.
Absolutely. One of the classic example is our client. He loves making coffee and he's into a profession where he has to work very hard. So somehow that was not happening. And then he removed a specific time, that is Saturday evening and Sunday evening. He's going to take orders of coffee and he's going to deliver coffee. Now in his society, it's a huge society of somewhere around, I think, 500 flats. And he is enjoying because every weekend he has advance booking for his coffees, and he's so excited, so that Monday to Friday he's so happy working and he's giving his best. So that Saturday evening just 3 hours, Sunday 2 3 hours, and see, he's so excited. Okay, now let's come to relationship example.
So, does procrastination affect relationships? Of course, it does. And how can you really beat it? So, probably you're struggling to have that bond with your children, with your spouse, with your parents. You know you want to do it, but you're not being able to do it because the work schedule is so tight. I'm constantly running to meet deadlines. So, how can you do that? It's by really setting boundaries around your work hours. Nothing happens. It is just about that mindset, that focus, that this time to this time, this is what I'm going to do. When you do that, then the next thing you need to do is create a routine around it. It's just not going to happen. Just because you've blocked the time, it's not going to happen. What are you going to do in that time? Are the people whom you're going to sit with aware of this? When you do this regularly, you start figuring out some uninterrupted time to do some family activities together, and that enhances your emotional connection and by default reduces stress.
So true. Second, we all know one of the biggest challenge in relationship is we do not have communication with our partners.
Absolutely.
And that's something is very important. Improving communication with partner. So you and your partner feel disconnected for one simple reason. You know what? Clients tell me, you know what? We don't talk to each other. We don't communicate. We are just talking few lines, few sentences, few words, and that's it. Now, how do you make it happen? Very simple again. Prioritizing regular communication, which means setting aside time for weekly check-ins or date nights. Like for us, every night we go for a walk. That's a mandate. And that half an hour, 40 minutes, we really have time to communicate with each other. So you can improve understanding and intimacy when your communication, if you are able to schedule that time, that weekly thing. And also,
Dheeraj, I'm sure they would be thinking, maybe you're blessed, you have the time so you can walk out. I have children, I have to take care of them. My dear friends, whether it's a workshop which ends at 12 o'clock or whether it's something that we are attending and that has delayed us, even on those nights,
yes,
we'll step out of the house at 12 in the night. We may walk in the society, but we'll ensure that we have that 30 minutes walk, because that's really crucial for us to have an amazing relationship with each other. And that is how this happens. It just doesn't happen because we have time, it's because we have prioritized
Yes.
this in our life. And of course, Sundays, either it is a night with friends or it is a night between the two of us, and that is how we have these regular date nights.
Now, are you interested in knowing how to? So, before that, when you give focused attention, then only are you able to foster relationship, which means you're fostering trust and strengthens the partnership, because trust is one of the key factor in having an amazing relationship.
So, who of all of you who are attending would like to really know how to improve your focus so that you can avoid procrastination in the areas which are really, really very crucial? I would love to know from people who are hearing me. Are you truly interested in knowing how to improve your focus and avoid procrastination? So, here are these simple steps that you can follow. The first thing that you can do is
You need to set absolute clear-cut goals and then define your priorities. One of the biggest challenge that I see people, they are running behind doing what is urgent instead of focusing what is important. So be very clear that this is important for me and I'm going to set this as my number one priority. Make your daily task list based on your goals, which means this is my destination, this is where I am. Now I need to do this so that I reach the destination. If I'm not doing this and I'm just circling around things which are not going to take me ahead, it's waste of time. So that's number one.
second, of course, there are, when I define a goal, it's probably a huge project that I'm looking at, or probably in my work life, it's a huge project that I'm working towards. And looking at that, I feel overwhelmed and anxious. Break that down into small little tasks or subtasks. When you look at that and chalo, I've done one small little thing, it makes you feel less overwhelmed. But when you look at it as a whole, it becomes so difficult and it makes you anxious. And then, of course, set some small milestones within a project to track progress and maintain motivation. For example, I've been wanting to become healthy, to reduce my weight. I've planned I want to reduce 10 kgs. But the minute I think 10 kgs, when I sit to myself, I feel, oh my God, 10 kgs is not going to happen. If it's not going to happen, why the hell should I take efforts? And you end up eating more or not exercising. But if this 10 kgs is divided into small little chunks, so probably this month I'll start exercising so I at least feel lighter on my body. Next month, probably I'll take a 1 kg determination. When I do these small little things,
Yep.
that this is just what I want to achieve. I just want to go out there and do 1 hour exercise. Now it's doable, right? So break down the task into small little bits. And when you set these small little milestones within that project, and then you look back. So this month, I tried and I could walk for 20 days. Wow. Now you're feeling great because that is maintaining your motivation towards that bigger goal, which was reducing 10 kgs.
Number three, create a distraction free environment, which means if you guys are working from home, designate a workplace. Keep your workplace tidy and organized to reduce visual distractions. Turn off non essential notification either on your phone or on your computer during your work hours, which means digital detox. Consider occasional digital detox periods to reset focus and reduce digital fatigue.
So you may not realize, but the presence of all these equipments around you, electronic equipments, they all have radiations. And just because that is existing around you, you start feeling that fatigue and stress, which is not seen, but you wonder why you're feeling exhausted, right? And second is this so-called WhatsApp and all the other apps that keep, whether it's a LinkedIn app, it's just giving you some notifications. And the minute you hear that noise, the brain is tending to look there. So it's very, very important for you to put off those notifications. My phone doesn't have notifications. I look at my phone when I want to.
Absolutely.
In my break time. Both of us ensure that the first 4 hours of our day, we are not looking at our mobile, we are not looking at our laptop, we are doing everything which is important to take care of our body and our mind. So ensure that you have a distraction free environment. And plus, it's really very important to designate a workspace. Like the place that I'm sitting here right now, I know this is my workspace. So the minute I enter from that door, now I'm cut off from all what is happening in my house. Otherwise, I'll never be able to focus on my work and get the results for my client, or probably plan a workshop, or focus on writing a book. Anything that I'm doing needs that I am distraction free.
The fourth one, practice mindfulness and meditation, which means we need to understand mind is something, is what we feed in, is how it functions, which means I need to practice deep breathing exercises to calm the mind, because there's so much at times going in the mind that you are automatically not in the right space. So you need to calm down by doing simple breathing exercise to calm the mind and enhance your focus. Also, spend a few minutes observing your surroundings to bring your attention to the present moment. That's very important, okay? Because many a time we're so lost that we don't know, and we're so focused either in the past or in the future. Important is, how do I get my mind in this moment, this present, which is the crucial moment.
In fact, even mindfulness is very important. Somehow, we all know, right? We have some habits and we have some behavior patterns, and we just go there because it's an autopilot mode, we just keep going and doing that. Now, if you're not really mindful about where you're spending time, what you are doing, you will ensure that you've spent 4 hours on the task, but you've actually not worked even for an hour. So being mindful, because all these gadgets and the places that we work, by default you end up reading something, and that leads to something, and you end up, I remember that day my client just walked in and she wanted to borrow a book from me, and I gave it to her, and she said, can I give you one book? I said, no thank you. She said, why? I said, because I know what I want to read towards what I'm working for this year, whether it's my workshop, whether it's my clients. If I just keep getting all kind of books, I'll never be able to read what is really important.
So true.
Is that happening with you? Because we are living in the information age, and you just end up reading certain things which either make you feel anxious or probably distracted, and you've lost something very important, and that is time. So really take efforts to practice mindfulness.
Then, of course, implement time management techniques. So there are a lot of time management techniques that you can use. Allocate specific blocks of time for different tasks and adhere to the schedule. Six, limit.
So Dheeraj, I would really like to say here that, time management techniques are really very helpful. But, the most important thing that it does to you, you may use any kind of techniques, doesn't really matter. But it actually helps you, one, to have a schedule. If I'm not told that this is what I'm going to do at this particular time, I'll never be able to do it. Plus, if I just keep myself open to do everything at one given time, I just feel so overwhelmed. I feel so distributed and distracted that at the end of the day, I'm not focusing on anything. So that is why whatever tool that you use doesn't really matter. It will at least take you to a better place than where you are today, and it will ensure that you adhere to a schedule, which means you are ending towards having a disciplined life. I think another very important thing to do is, like when you are probably in an IT job, or probably a job like me, whether you're a coach, you're a counselor, you're a chartered accountant, where you're sitting and working continuously, a lawyer, what happens? You're sitting here at one place, and by default, the brain starts going into that mode of feeling a fog. You need to take those essential breaks. In 90 minutes, I'll get up and I'll take a walk. In 90 minutes, I will change my focus. I will change my physiology. So these small little reminders on your time management task list will help you perform much better and improve your focus.
Then coming to sixth one, limit multitasking. Means focus on one task at a time. especially all the super moms out there, let's be very clear that if you're going to do multitasking, definitely it's not helping. So concentrate on completing one task fully before moving to the next to enhance quality and speed. If I'm frequently switching between one task, reduces efficiency and increases a lot of opportunity of doing errors. Like for example, okay, so let's say we set some specific time to check and respond to email instead of interrupting work constantly. And every 10 minutes, tick, every time, no. You need to give that specific, this time of the day, I'm going to see my emails and I'm going to respond back. Dedicate certain days or time to specific type of work, like would be creative work, meetings, plannings, examples. That's how you can do ensure that you're focused on one task at a time.
So, for example, if I give my way of functioning, there are so many things that I need to do. So, there's a workshop lined up at the end of the month. There is a book that I'm working on. There are specific clients who are needing some specific study material which I have to go through before I sit on the session. I have to plan my sessions accordingly. Now, if I look at all of this and I try to do everything at one time, I'll mess up completely. So I know I've divided my day. So my morning hours sometimes is divided for my studies. So when I'm studying, I'm not looking at anything. That's why I'm focused there and I can get out the results what I want, which helps me coach my clients. When I sit to write, I'm not doing anything else. I'm just writing, because I remember earlier when I used to sit and write, it used to take me such a long time to really do that, because it was a beginner's, all those challenges that happen. You don't know what to put. The thoughts don't come across. But because I've scheduled this and I do that just one task, I see how important it is, because it's improved my efficiency to such a great level that now probably I do that in 1/10 of the time that I would take maybe 2 years back. One another beautiful thing that we got to know from Tony Robbins workshop that we attended last time. He said that multitasking actually reduces your efficiency. So I remember we all had this mindset. We were taught that you should be a multitasker. No, it's not the right way to do, because you end up making errors. You end up not giving your best and you end up not getting the results that you were wanting. So stop multitasking. You may do 10 tasks in a day, but one task at a time is really very crucial.
Then, of course, you need to establish a routine that is consistent schedule. Stick to a regular schedule that aligns with your natural energy levels, your peak productive time. You need to find out what is that. Do certain morning rituals, like start the day. Like for us, we start the day with priming, then we do our physical exercise, then we do our meditation, then we do our study. These things are so very much in line that there's a consistent routine that prepares us mentally. By the time we start our day, we are all so set. We are mentally prepared for all the day's tasks, and that's why we can achieve all of them. And I'm really proud to say that we accomplished all of them in the given time frame, because that morning we set everything.
And then, of course, we all know that we have different times of the day when our energy is the highest.
Yeah.
You need to recognize that. And when you're at the most alert zone, that is the time you should do all the most demanding tasks. Like for me, the most demanding task is writing. I do that in the beginning of the day, early in the morning, when I finish all these rituals that Dheeraj just said, and I'm absolutely the peak of my energy and focus, is the time when I dedicate to writing. Then I get on to all the other activities of my day, like my sessions, doing all the other things. So you need to know, in all the tasks that you need to do, what really requires your maximum focus and maximum energy. And that is the way you will plan your daily activities. And believe me, friends, everyone's energy is not the same at every time of the day. For some, it is morning. For some, it is afternoon.
For some, it is evening.
For some, it is in the night. All of a sudden, out of the blue, they're full of energy. Why? That's how they're structured. So ensure that you are doing your high demanding task at that time when you're in absolutely high energy zone.
Now, to do this, you need to really prioritize your physical and mental well-being, which means first thing, you need to do regular exercise. You have to incorporate regular physical activity for minimum 30 minutes. I'll repeat, minimum 30 minutes. It could be just simple walking, jogging, yoga, or gym or anything. But that should be minimum 30 to 1 hour. Like we do 1 hour every day. That's
Yes.
regular. Second,
Yes.
you need to ensure you take active break, which means take short break. Like we do that. Every session of mine that I finish, I'll just stretch myself, move for a minute or two, and just do certain, some small 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minute exercise. And I'm again back because that refreshes my mind and body. And of course, you need to ensure that you're having a healthy diet. Okay, that's so important. And
In fact,
hydration.
yes. In fact, how many of you have experienced this, that on a working day, you've had an amazing lunch, and then you come back and you sit on your...
And you're so excited, you're full of energy, and you are awake. No, my dear friends, when you have a heavy lunch, you feel I get energy, but that's for just a particular moment. And after that, to convert that entire food and digest that food, you start feeling yawning, lazy, and all of that happens. So you need to ensure that you're taking care of your diet. Like consume food rich in omega-3 fatty acids. Okay, like she can give you more detail on that.
So basically, all which have antioxidants, which have vitamins, which are supporting our brain health. So we know, I mean, you can get into nutrition and find all of this. It's more important to know you're not eating something heavy that you doze off. You're eating something light so that you can work actively and you can remain focused. And of course, staying hydrated is so damn important. In fact, we used to drink water, but I think again Tony's workshops has made that such a compulsion that both of us, whenever you come, you'll find there's a bottle of water and there's a glass that's always there. And it's become a routine to keep drinking water, because that's again one basic source of oxygen for us.
13 to 14 glasses we consume water every single day from morning to night. Okay.
And that helps you focus and improves the efficiency of your brain. Then there is one very important thing that you need to practice if you want to remain focused and avoid procrastination. If a task is taking less than 2 minutes, it's called a 2-minute rule. I'm sure if you've not read it, you can read it again in details. But what it generally means is, if a task takes less than 2 minutes, do it immediately to prevent it from becoming a mental burden. Means, I had to make this call, I'll do it later. Now that stays in your brain and it is hanging around like a sword on your head. Don't do that. Dropping a message to a friend, checking on someone's health, figuring out something which is important, ordering something, it's just going to take you 2 minutes. But you don't do it because you have so many other things. No, it's come to your mind, just finish it. When you do that, these small little tasks are ticked out, you then feel a sense of progress. And when you come to work, you can actually be more focused and achieve much more. So 2-minute rule, anything which takes lesser than 2 minutes, don't procrastinate, do it just that moment.
Absolutely. Also, set realistic expectation. Now, sometimes we do this mistake, as Tony says, we always overestimate what we can do in 1 year and we underestimate what we can achieve in 10 years. So avoid overcommitting. Be aware of your limits and avoid taking one more task that you can handle. Take task prioritization is extremely important. And finally, the most important, friends, whenever you do something good, please celebrate, even if they are small victories, small achievement. Like you decided, I'm going to do this today. You did it, celebrate. So that something is important. Okay.
And of course, finally, doing all of this may not be really easy. So find a accountability partner. Find a peer or a friend or a buddy or your colleague or your partner. I think that's the best accountability partner. And if not, then people like us,
absolutely,
coaches who can ensure that they keep you focused on your goals, they keep reviewing your achievements, working through your challenges, and that is how you can grow in your career. You can avoid all this delay on important things which are actually important to help you grow in your career. And if all this you're doing and you want to do it on your own, then people who can write, they can of course maintain a journal to track their progress. So these are 13 steps that we had. If you try any one of them, all of them, two, three of them, believe me, that will help you increase your focus.
Now,
And
this is
will
something that we have given you. It's not just theory, something we've done and
Yes.
we've given to hundreds of our clients who today their life is so amazing. So please do apply this. I can promise you this will make a difference in your life. And that's what we want. That how is it impacting your life? So the moment you get some changes, please write us back. We are always curious and excited to know that what we are able to add value to your life. So once again, thank you so much and see you again on Friday, 9 p.m. on
how
How
to
to
ace
Ace
your
Your